Hey, good morning, guys. It's Donald and Mary, and we're here to bring you your morning weather, water, and trail chatter report. So this morning, Mary's going to start with the water and weather, and then after we have some news. All right, take it away, Mary.
Thank you, Donald.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Right now in Blairsville, it is 27 degrees and it feels like 22. We're gonna have
It's cold.
That's very cold.
Very
We're gonna
cold
have a
today,
high
yeah.
today of 41, mostly sunny, with 5 to 10 mile per hour winds, and then tonight 22 degrees, a few clouds, and light and variable winds. So let's remember to drip our faucets so nothing freezes. It's that time of year. And then Blood Mountain today, a high of 34, dropping to 30 in the afternoon with 10 to 15 mile per hour winds and gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And then tonight, 26, partly cloudy, and again 5 to 10 mile per hour winds and 30 mile per hour gusts. That's some pretty heavy winds. Make sure you're checking for limbs and branches and everything that could be loose and fall down around you and on you when you're setting up your camp. Water's good for the most part. Make sure you top off at Hawk Mountain Shelter, Lance Creek, Nail Gap. Slaughter Creek, which is your last water source before you climb Blood Mountain going north, does have water. You have to walk all the way down to the very bottom there of that source. It's about 0.6 down, but you will get water. Neil to Hogpen Gap is dry. Hogpen Gap does have water, and you just have to walk to that very last blue blaze there. And then Dix Creek, it is getting dry. You have to move the leaves around, but there's still enough water that you can get water out of there. You just have to be patient. Just move it around. Let's remember to keep your water filters warm. It's that time of year where they're going to freeze. Some of them will freeze and be ruined. Let's sleep with them at night and carry them near your body during the day so that doesn't happen. All right, Great Smoky Mountain National Park bear closures. We have campsites 19 and 82. All shelters and trails are open. And then the warnings are Gatlinburg Trail, Cataract Falls Trail, Cove Mountain Trail, and Campsite 71. Let's remember that Kawohe Road closes for the season December 1st through late March. So if you plan on going up there, now's the time to do it before that's closed down for the season. Newfound Gap Road is open all year round. It just closes due to high winds, snow, ice, and other conditions out there, but they are open year round. When the conditions are good. All right, Donald, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Talk about some other things that are going on.
Okay, sweet, man. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I apologize here. All right, good morning, guys. It's 5:44 a.m. on 11/28/2025, and if no one knows, man, the 11 is November. And so let's start like this. I'm reading an article right now about a rescue crew that helped it's about an injured hiker in Columbia River Gorge on Thanksgiving. He fell down an embankment and needed rescue. He was hiking alone, and his phone, of course, I bet no one can guess, was on 4% or something. It didn't say 4%, but
Almost dead, right?
yeah. And so Cascade Locks, Oregon. Several teams helped rescue a man who fell down an embankment in the Columbia River Gorge on Thanksgiving, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office said. Shortly before 4 p.m., a 30-year-old hiker called 911 after going off the Rock of Ages Trail and falling down an embankment, a spokesperson for the sheriff's office said. MCSO's head search and rescue coordinator, Brian Gerkman, said the hiker had some rocks come down on him after the fall. He suffered traumatic injuries but is expected to survive. Yeah. They are just trying to stabilize those injuries, and then we are going to figure out a plan to get him out, Kirkman said. Rescue crews made it to the hiker's location just over an hour after the emergency call came in. Nice. They worked to get the man on a rescue skid, brought him back to the trail, and transferred him to a wheeled litter for transport back to the trailhead. At about 9:25, Cascade, Locks, Fire, and EMS took the man to the hospital. Gerkman said the hiker was alone on the trail. it sounds like his cell phone battery was near dead, so it was very fortunate that he was able to have self-service and still a functioning phone, Gerkman told KATU News. Authorities encourage people to stay on the established trails, try not to hike alone, and to make sure friends and family know exactly where you are planning to go in case you run into any problems on the hike. Treat the gorge as a wilderness. It's not a park, said Gerkman. Carry emergency supplies, blankets, food, water, even a charging pack for your cell phone for situations like this. So the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Green Hornets Trail Rescue Team, Hood River County Sheriff's Office Cascade Locks Fire, and EMS Portland Mountain Rescue Team, Hood River Crag Rats, and others were responding. So 2 thumbs up for the EMS and, SARS, EMS, EMT, the rescue teams, all the volunteers, just everyone involved in the rescue, once again going in to rescue someone they don't know and get them out of the woods to safety. So,
That's
yeah,
right.
definitely. And I'm glad that guy is okay too, because it's cold right now.
Right.
I mean, you stay out there overnight, man. It snows, it rains, it hails, you get wet, hypothermic. It's done. That's it, man. So it sounds like he had some bad injuries too, man.
Yeah.
Completely unprepared. Completely. All right, so next, man, let's move on to another rescue, but this has to do with right here, man. And so the other day, we had some hikers, man, that we were going to pick up at Gooch Gap. They came up from Florida, I think, man. I can't remember.
Yeah, yes, I believe it was Florida, I believe.
Yeah. It was either Florida or somewhere in a warmer climate. So anyways, they got up here, man, and they started to hike from Springer. They parked at Springer. They started hiking. We were going to pick them up at Gooch Gap a couple days later. And we ended up getting a phone call from the wife the night before the pickup. And so why don't you go ahead and tell that story, Mary?
Right. So like Donald was saying, the night before we got the call from the wife, it was about 9:30 at night, and she wanted us to go out there and pick her husband up at Cooper Gap. They were both very concerned about their boys not having contact with them, and they weren't sure if they were going to make it to the shelter. I remember it was thundering and lightning, and it was raining.
It was, yeah.
So they were very concerned. They weren't sure if they should call search and rescue to, have their boys looked for. So I had the contact with the wife. She called back, and she stated that her husband was going to camp at Cooper Gap, and then, in the morning at some point in time, we'd be picking them up at Gooch. She wasn't sure if he was going to make it to Gooch by the 10 a.m. pickup, because I had some text messages with him after that. So after that happened, he was just going to camp there for the night. But then you had contact with him stating that they needed to get picked up at the Suches Fire Department the following day. So I went out to pick him up at the Suches Fire Department, which was the one across the road from the Woody Gap School there. And when I asked him, what happened, he said, well, I did set up camp. He was too concerned, though, because he said he tried to go to sleep, but just not having that signal contact with his boys, he was not quite sure if they had made it to the shelter. So I think he was trying to go to sleep for about an hour or so, but then it just kept playing in his head that he couldn't contact his kids. And I get it. I'd be worried too. I'd be worried about anybody that I couldn't contact with. So they did call the fire department, went in there, and they walked up to the Gooch Mountain shelter, and his sons were there. One of them was sleeping, and the other one was still awake. And they had met up out there with Snake Eyes and his brother as they were hiking along, and they had camped with him, I believe, the night before. So he and his brother were also in the shelter, and the boys were there. So the boys were fine. It was just not having that signal. So
Okay.
yeah, so everything turned out really well. He was just happy to have his sons, back and be sure that they were safe. So then we got them back to Springer Mountain to their car, and they're good to go.
Yeah, and so there's a couple lessons to learn from this, man. The kids are actually like 14 and 12, aren't they, or something?
Somewhere around that age, yes.
Yeah, they're younger. And so I can completely see the concern for them bouncing ahead. And the dad is like my age, I think. He's like 53 years old.
Yeah,
So
somewhere in there, yeah.
no, we had a long talk, man. Yeah, man. When it took a couple days to schedule him, so
Okay.
we talked multiple times, I think. Or it doesn't matter either way, man. He's an older gentleman, dude, and so we don't bounce as fast as little kids do, man. And so these little kittens or cats, dude, man, or kids, man. They definitely got ahead of him. And they got 4 miles ahead of him, as a matter of fact, because he was at Cooper Gap. And I believe Gooch is another 5 miles or 4 miles. It's like 3 or 4 miles away, anyways. And so they called us at 9:40.
Okay.
I remember the phone ringing, man, that night. And I was half asleep, and I just heard it ringing and you grabbing it or something, man. And
Yeah.
and I knew a little bit about the situation, but I didn't know the whole thing. So till the next day. But I almost think that with the Garmin InReach, if one of those kids, dude, would have had a Garmin InReach on them, they could have communicated, because the two-way Garmin InReach, they could have had satellite.
That's right.
There is service over there at Gooch Gap if you're in the right area. I'm shocked that there wasn't service, but also like T-Mobile, which a lot of people have when they come from Florida, is T-Mobile, just doesn't work well up here. And so Verizon and AT&T work really good, and T-Mobile will be kind of spotty, or it is spotty. So, I don't know what phone service they were running either. I honestly believe I think that they should have had. I honestly think that each person should have had their own separate InReach. Yeah, and so as we've seen, man, people are coming up missing, and it's on short trips, and if they would have had an InReach on them, this one, they'd be easier to locate a lot of these people. And so the people that do have InReach, though, or the Spot or whatever it is, man, the people that do have it, the people that do have it are getting rescued without issue.
Yes.
So if you listen to each one of our articles that we read, each one, it tells a story. And if you listen to them, the people with the Garmin InReaches, man, that sit still after they hit that SOS, they get rescued.
And they get rescued quicker, too.
They do. And the ones that don't have it, they're out there for days wandering, or a week or 2 weeks, or, over and over again. It's the same storyline, man. You know what I mean? It's either they do or they don't. They do have it, they're rescued faster. They don't have it, either they don't get rescued, they're never found, or they're out there for a week or 4 days or a week or 2 weeks, man, before they're found by some Cub Scout troop, or a wife calls in their husband that fell in the Dolomites, dude, and he's out there for 4 days and he fell down an embankment. Everything was his backpack, everything went away. He broke his femur and he didn't have anything on him. He just had to lay there, and I think he was drinking urine, but there was a river right down below him and stuff, but he couldn't get to it because his femur was broke. And so, but this stuff is happening over and over again. And I believe if these kids, man, were set up with that Garmin InReach, this whole incident would not have been as serious. And so that is something I took from that.
Definitely.
And another thing is, man, shouldn't let kids go ahead like that, man. You know what I mean, dude? It's just got to stick together. I think that maybe a good lesson to learn from this is we never leave our group behind like that, man. Move ahead a little bit if you want, but don't get within yelling distance from your group, because anything can happen, man. And so stay in pairs if you're going to do that. Have a meeting spot. have the what do you call it? The app, their
Yeah.
Far Out app, and
That's
you
right.
know, sync it up to your buddies, man, and say this is where we're gonna go tonight, man. Be here, and if we're not here, something's wrong, dude. You know what I mean? Have a game plan if that's the case.
That's right.
So a lot of things could have been avoided here, but let's just be happy that it ended up the way it
right.
did, because literally Charles Hush went missing up here in the last couple weeks, and then basically the day after they shut that search down, or the day of, these kids were called in missing.
Yeah.
And so the fireman was talking to the customer, our customer there, about Charles Hush, and said he was going hunting, I guess.
He was going to
What?
go hunting up on Blood Mountain. I think part of it was he wanted to go hunting there because he wanted to still further look around. And, pretty much from what I was getting from the rider, this man was kind of puzzled as to what happened.
Yeah, he just disappeared, man. It's like, it's completely, it's mysterious for sure, man. And so, but with all this going on, man, and these kids, man, taking off, and they were safe. We know Snake Eyes. He was a customer of ours years ago, and so Mary saw him in the parking lot the other day, man, when she was sitting there waiting for some other customers.
That's
He
right.
came down through, or he was sitting in the truck, actually,
Well,
right, or
when
something.
I got there, I can't remember if he pulled in just after I did and parked. I think he did. He's out there, the gentleman, I guess it's his brother. And I've ran into him a couple times. I ran into him again at Three Forks when I was picking up the other group. And I guess they're out here. They're just going gap to gap and, continuing to hike along. So then he met up with the rider and his kids, and they had camped with them the night before. And then they were at the shelter with the boys the night
So-
that they were, their father was concerned about them.
So that's cool, man. They met up with some cats out there, trusting cats, but man, definitely, gonna have better planning, and then, but they're all new at this, man,
Right.
so they don't know any better. But definitely, that is a learning lesson, and I hope that they apply those ideas that we were just talking about to their next hike. You know what I mean, man? At least with a Garmin, or just have a plan.
Yeah.
The plan is the most important part of it all, man. And make sure that everyone knows what the plan is, and then stick with it. Don't veer off from it. Don't change anything.
That's right.
You got to follow through with the plan. So.
That's right.
All right, and then that's what we have going on for that story, man. So yesterday we didn't have anything going on, right? Just sat around.
Yeah, we sat around until we had that scheduling come in last night for the folks
okay.
that I took
Super
from
quiet.
Dick's to Neil. They're getting off early at Unicorn Gap later on today. I'm getting them back to Dick's Creek. And I did ask them, they were camping at Low Gap last night. I did ask them, I said, cold out there? He's like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a wind that had picked up, but they said that Low Gap was, nice
Yeah,
because
'cause-
they're down in
yeah,
there.
it's
But
down
they
in.
did say it was cold, especially with that wind going on.
I'm bad too.
I know when I dropped them at Neil the other night, when I picked them up at Dick's and then when I dropped them at Neil, the wind was starting to kick up in those places, and we all know the gaps when it's wintertime especially, they can get pretty windy and chilly.
Super cold, man. I like wind tunnels, man. It just catches all the wind. It's like a river of wind, man, running through those channels.
right,
You're
that's
right there at the bottom where all the cold air just kind of settles. It's cold. Anyways, all right. And so we'll be picking them up today. And then actually we took yesterday down because you were in Knoxville at
That's
12.
right, I was.
I'm still putting the video out. I'm still working on it right now. Kind of did nothing yesterday. I was super tired.
Yeah.
We went to bed at 4 p.m. yesterday. And so there was no turkey day here. We did Korean food. So, but anyways, happy day after Thanksgiving. So, but yeah, we just kicked back and relaxed yesterday. Went to bed around 4 p.m. and then woke up this morning at like 3 o'clock, 3:30ish. Biscuit came in and sat on Mary's chest and begged for food. He was hungry because he hadn't eaten since 4 yesterday either, dude. But he's a good dude, man. He doesn't bug us, dude.
No, he's on our schedule, and he's a good boy.
He's chill, dude. Biscuit's like a human being, man. So he's like a little baby human being, adult baby. That's what he is.
He is.
So.
He's cute.
Anyways, but today we have that one scheduling, and we'll see what's going on this weekend. It is Friday.
That's right.
People are going to want to get out here and walk off some calories, man. And so we'll see what's up, man. Do we have a busy weekend? No?
Not yet.
All right, sweet. I like it, man. But this morning was extremely cold, man. So we've got the heat on today, man. It was cold, like probably six. Well, I left it on last night on 68 or whatever, dude. But yesterday morning it was 63 in here when I woke up. And so, because I was up before you got home. It was 63 degrees, man, at like 2:30 or something. And then yesterday was super cold, man. We kept the heat on all day pretty much. And then today's extremely cold. So you guys be packing for cold weather.
Definitely.
Excuse me, cold and wet weather, excuse me.
Yep.
All right. What do we have? Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, sweet. All right, we're going to end it here, guys. If anyone needs anything at all, give Mary and I a call. We're here for you, okay? One love, man. Peace. Thanks.